You know, when we think about money, we picture something solid, something stable. But it's changing, and it's changing fast. But here's the thing. This story isn't just about code or some new tech. It's about a secret war being fought for the very future of money itself. And whoever wins is going to control a whole lot more than just what's in your wallet. It all starts with a very, very human problem.
Okay, just imagine this for a second. Every single time you wanted to send $100 to your family, it took days to get there. And when it finally arrived, a good chunk of it was just gone. For millions of people around the world, that's not some thought experiment. That's just called sending money home.
All right, to really get this, we've got to go to Hong Kong. Picture this. Every Sunday, public squares are filled with Filipino domestic workers. It's their one day off, and for so many of them, it's not just a day to relax. It's a day of stress and logistics. It's the day they have to figure out how to send their hard-earned money back home to their families.
I mean, really let that sink in. When you're on that tight of a budget, every single dollar, every cent counts. So the whole process of sending that money back becomes this huge source of anxiety, all because the system they have to use is old, it's clunky, and it is expensive.
And we're not talking about a small problem here. This is massive. In 2023 alone, Filipino workers overseas sent home almost $40 billion. That's billion with a B. That's more than the entire economy of some countries. It's this enormous river of money, but it's flowing through what is basically ancient, leaky plumbing.
So this old system they're using, it's called SWIFT. And here's the dirty little secret. It isn't really a system for moving money. It's a messaging system for banks to talk to each other. So your money doesn't just go from your bank to their bank. No, it has to take this crazy journey, hopping between all these different banks in the middle. And at every single stop, someone takes a little cut in fees, and more time gets added to the clock. It's a mess.
And get this, that's only if you're lucky enough to even have a bank account. Around 1.3 billion adults on this planet are completely unbanked. They are totally cut off from the system. So you see the problem, right? It's huge. But now, let's talk about the solution.
So you've definitely heard of Bitcoin, right? The wild child of cryptocurrency, famous for its crazy price swings. But what if there was a different kind of digital money? One that had all the speed and the global reach of crypto, but with none of that hard-stopping volatility. Well, say hello to stablecoins.
Here's the key difference, and it's super important. Bitcoin's value is all about what people think it's worth tomorrow. It's pure speculation. A stablecoin, on the other hand, is designed from the ground up to be, well, stable. Its value is locked or pegged one-to-one with a real-world asset, usually the good old US dollar. It's not about getting rich quick, it's just digital cash.
So how in the world does that work? Well, the idea is actually pretty simple. For every single digital dollar stablecoin that gets created, the company that issues it has to hold one real US dollar in the bank as a reserve. Usually it's in cash or super safe things like US government bonds. This gives you the best of both worlds, the lightning speed of crypto with the boring, reliable stability of the dollar. And that is the breakthrough moment. Think about it. When you send a photo to your friend, it doesn't have to go through 3 different photo banks that each take a little piece of the picture along the way, right? You just hit send. It's instant. Stablecoins let you do the exact same thing, but with money. All you need is a phone.
And you might be thinking this is some niche tech thing, but no. This market is already massive. And what's really wild is how concentrated it is. Just 2 companies, Tether and Circle, control more than 99% of the entire market. You're going to want to remember those names, because this simple tech solution is about to take a massive geopolitical turn.
Okay, so this is where the story gets so much bigger. It's not just about helping workers send money home anymore. This technology has accidentally become a powerful tool in a much bigger game of global power. And for the United States, it all starts with a very big, and frankly, a very scary number.
$37 trillion. Let me just say that again. $37 trillion. That's the current U.S. national debt. It's a number so big it's hard to even wrap your head around. But the consequences of that number? Oh, they are very, very real.
But for the first time in its history, the US government is now spending more money just on the interest payments for its debt than it spends on its entire national defense budget. And that's a huge red flag. I mean, historically, for any global superpower, when the cost of your debt overtakes what you spend on your military, well, that's usually the beginning of the end. America desperately needs someone to buy its debt.
And this is where stablecoins come in. And it's a stroke of genius, really, an almost hidden weapon. When someone, let's say in Argentina or Nigeria, buys a dollar stablecoin, the company that issues it, like Circle,
has to take that real dollar and park it somewhere safe to back it up. And what's the safest asset on planet Earth? A US Treasury bill. So every single person in the world who uses a stablecoin is now helping to fund America's debt. It creates this brand new massive global customer base for US bonds.
Now you have to know, the rest of the world isn't just sitting back and watching this happen. They see exactly what's going on, and they are scrambling to respond. A new global race for the future of money is officially on. So you've got the European Union pushing hard to get its own euro-backed stablecoins off the ground. Japan is rolling out super strict rules to keep control. And China, well, after banning crypto on the mainland, is now using Hong Kong as a giant laboratory to experiment with its own government-approved stablecoins. Nobody wants their economic future to depend on a digital dollar.
But wait, this fight isn't just between countries. A whole second front is opening up in this war. And the combatants here, they're some of the biggest, most powerful corporations the world has ever seen.
Meta, Facebook, they tried this once before with a coin called Libra and got smacked down by regulators. But they're coming back, and you hear whispers about Amazon, Google, Tesla. They're all exploring their own stablecoins. I mean, just think about it. Meta has over 2 billion users. If they roll out a coin, it could literally become a global currency overnight, challenging the power of governments themselves. All right, so we've got nations fighting, corporations fighting, but just when you think this can't get any bigger, the story takes one final, almost science fiction leap. Because the real war for money isn't just about what we are going to use, it's about what our creations are going to use. So I've got a question for you. Fast forward 10 years from now, who, or maybe I should say what, will be the single biggest player in the global economy, making trillions of dollars of transactions every single day?
The answer isn't a country. It's not a corporation. It's artificial intelligence. AIs are going to be the biggest spenders of the future, and they need something our current financial system just can't give them.
Just imagine an AI running a smart factory. It needs to order parts at 3 in the morning on a Sunday, pay for it instantly, and then maybe invest the profits a millisecond later. An AI doesn't sleep. It doesn't take weekends off. It can't wait for a bank to open. It needs money that is native to the internet, money that is literally made of code. Stablecoins are programmable money. They're the only currency an AI can actually speak.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important piece of this whole puzzle. This race to build the best stablecoin, it's not just about sending money home, and it's not even just about which country has the most power. It's about building the financial rails for the entire age of artificial intelligence. Because whatever currency the AIs of the world decide to use, that will become the next global reserve currency. The real question is, who's going to build it first?